Hi there! In this video we are going to cover the fundamentals of Flexbox layouts in Builderius Builder. This video is intended for CSS and Flexbox beginners, as well as Builderius beginners. We will cover the fundamental controls used in Flexbox and explain them, and then we will apply the things we learned on real-world example. In 2025, CSS Grid is used to achieve many layout challenges in web design. But still, Flexbox remains an indispensable tool for elegant and flexible layouts that adapt well to both your content and the browser. So, if you're ready, let's get going. To work with Flexbox, we need at minimum two elements. We need a parent element, also called Flex Wrapper, and we need a child element, also called the Flex Item. We use the Flex Wrapper, the parent element, to control where the Flex Item will appear and how it will be laid out. Our first assignment is to use Builderius and the Flexbox controls to achieve all of these layouts. I have prepared two elements, the parent element and the child element. Because parent element currently doesn't have Flexbox applied, the div element within it acts naturally, which means it fills the entire width of its parent. So let's add Flexbox to the parent element and see what happens. What happens is that the child div element now fills the entire width of its parent and collapses on the width side. This is what happens when you don't further specify any other Flexbox controls. So let's see what controls we have here. We have align items and justify content as tools for positioning the items within the Flex parent. Align items will control where the item is located on the cross axis. This means that if the direction of the Flexbox is horizontal or row, align items will control the vertical axis. Start will position it on the top, and will position it on the bottom, and center in the center. Conversely, justify content will control where the items are positioned on the main axis. In this case, this is horizontal. Align items can also stretch the item from the top to the bottom. For the next assignment, we have to have more than one item in our Flex Wrapper. This is because we want to also control how they're arranged within the space, not only change their location. I have prepared 4 items, the parent element, and 3 Flex items. Our Flex items will put them on the top left, like before, and justify content will put them in the center. We can also put it at the end, center, the bottom. Let's now see some of the new controls. Space between is one of the space dash controls, which allow us to stretch the space between the items so that all 3 items fill the entire width of the parent container. Space between is not the only one. There are more variations like space around. Space around will add more space also from the sides of the items. And space evenly will take care that all of the spaces are of equal width. If we change the parent width, this space will change accordingly. So far, we have used only the horizontal Flexbox layout. Let's now switch to the vertical layout and see what it means for the spacing between the items. If we change the size or the height of the parent element to something bigger, we can see that justify content now works vertically. So far, we have seen how to position one or more items within the Flexbox wrapper. We have also seen how to control the spacing between the items to fill in the available space. Let's now see how to control the size of the items to fill the available space. To fill the available vertical space when we have a horizontal Flexbox applied, we go to align items and use stretch. To stretch those items horizontally as well, we need to choose the Flex Item Because we want to work on all of them, we will choose the class. And in the flex child, on the flex grow property, we will write 1. When we control flex child properties, putting 0 will mean that we do not allow grow in this example. 1 means that we do allow. So 1 is kind of like yes. This is how we fill the available space. These examples cover the majority of Flexbox controls as they relate to one-line Flexbox layouts, but Flexbox can be used for more than one lines. I have prepared a bit more Flexbox items so that they do not fit in one line. Within the Flexbox layout, if we cannot fit all the items in one line, they will overflow like this. This is the default behavior. We can use a property called Flexbox wrap to change that behavior. When we have more than one line in Flexbox, new controls will appear, called align content. They behave equally like justify content, only on the cross axis. Position on top, center, bottom, space between, space around, space evenly. Stretch will not work while align items start is active, because it says items shouldn't stretch. When I remove it, the items will stretch as well. To fill the available space on the horizontal axis, I can do the following. Now we notice that when we're trying to create a kind of a grid using Flexbox, by default, if we don't have the exact same number of items per row, we will not get an exact grid. This is a case where CSS grid is way better approach to Flexbox, but since we're doing Flexbox, let's see how we can make an equal grid using Flexbox. What we first need to do is remove this minimum width that I've added before and make grow and shrink 0. We don't want our items to fill the space or try to get smaller. In the basis property, we will define the exact measurement that will fit the entire width with as much columns as we want. We want 5 columns, so we'll start with 20%. Deduce the space between the items and the border width. So we will do calc, open braces, minus 1 rem, see we have some space left, and plus, I think it was 3 pixels, and that's it. Our flex basis is now determining the exact fifth of the width. We can check if this works correctly by changing the width of the parent to wide, and we see it still works. With this, we end the introduction into Flexbox. In our next chapter, we will apply this knowledge to a concrete example.